That looks like there's a photograph from the Horton Foote movie.
Actually, that's from an article that was in Premiere Magazine,
Oh.
and I took the still from that. Okay. Well, in talking with Matthew Broderick, sometimes we hardly know what to expect. It can be a costume film, it can be a theatrically based film, a
Man of
comedy.
1,000 faces, they call him.
Well,
Yeah.
there's something to that, and I suppose on the whole that's the best way. Are you a New Yorker? I mean, is that pertinent here especially?
Well, for this film, it probably is. It's a very New York story.
Among the cast, maybe, are you the most truly New Yorkish?
Well, I was born and raised here, and I still live here. And interestingly, I was born and raised within blocks of where the film shot.
Oh, really? And
So practically every location I knew, like, intimately.
now, when we see things like the deli and the theater,
Yeah.
those are all real places,
They're
not
all
just
real.
renamed.
They're all real. The Dean and DeLuca is a pretty famous gourmet deli where we shot. It's a huge, massive, very upscale place. Hundreds of cheeses and
Yeah.
prosciuttos and
And the expression on your face when you're doling over portions of cheese that
Yeah.
would give you a paycheck per month.
I know.
Wow.
Well, he's in a bad mood some of the film, my character. So he, people ask him too many questions about the cheese and he doesn't like it.
You know, you play maybe one of the most difficult kinds of characters to portray in any medium. A nice guy, an intelligent guy.
Right.
Is that-
Particularly difficult for me because I'm not nice or intelligent.
But seriously, is it a challenge to play a character who is balanced, who's not odd in some way,
Yeah. Well, it depends. If it's too balanced and not odd, sometimes I end up with the role. I think sometimes the lead role is not the best role. Denzel Washington once told me that when he plays, there's a certain kind of role where he feels like a host, like actors come in every couple of weeks, a new actor comes to the set and they say, here, this is a table for two. That's how you feel. You sort of introduce the next great character and you're kind of the eyes of the audience or something. So
Sometimes
those
they
roles
call
are
that
not
fifth business. A character
Right.
sort of functions in that way.
Yeah, right.
But that's not so here. I think everybody
No.
has a definite
No.
personality.
This is more of an ensemble.
What was
type of
this
film.
like when you saw it and participated in a reading of it? How did this come across?
Well, Warren Leight, who wrote it and directed it, is a friend of mine, gave me the script and I loved it. And, I said, anything I can do. So he organized a reading for the suits and ties, as he calls them, the executives and whatever sat in the audience of the theater that's in the film, that little theater. That's where we did
One
it.
Dream, I think.
Yeah, but I don't think it's really called that.
That's what I wondered, too.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, you caught me. And we went there and did this reading of it like a play, kind of. We all sat on stools, and it played really well, and the audience seemed to enjoy it. And Miramax, Harvey Weinstein, was there, and he green-lighted it.
In your experience, do many movies grow out of the kind of process that's very typical for a play?
I've never been in a movie that worked that way. I've done readings of screenplays and had it not work out. I never really imagined it would work, but it did.
Now, the idea of mismatched characters regrouping and finding their true loves is as old, heaven knows it's older than Chekhov and on
Yeah.
down. But the idea of two lovers who will not meet for a long time,
Yeah.
is that
Yeah,
a
that's
particularly risky thing to do? Or
Well, it's complicated, in all the setting up and stuff. It's a difficult premise in that you have to set up three individual stories and somehow make them relate to each other, but you can't have the scene where they're talking to each other. So it's a difficult thing, I think, for the writer.
most intriguing, and the title really does set that up. I
Yeah,
guess,
The
when you
Night
think
We
about
Never
it.
Met, yeah. But Warren did, I believe, do that successfully. There's something very nice about people. They do meet because I leave notes for her, food for her, she leaves paintings. Our spirits meet sort of in this apartment, because we keep
It's a nice
taking the
notion.
apartment after the other person.
I can only assume that apartments like this must proliferate across New York, across Manhattan.
Yeah,
So stories like this probably have happened many times.
they probably have. there are a lot of interesting, weird living relationships in New York because it's so expensive.
And in that sense, does it become uniquely Manhattan, even though the story is universal?
I guess that's hard for me to say because I'm so much from New York that I maybe don't notice that. But I imagine people have to share places and get by in other towns. It's a city story.
Yeah.
It's not a rural. I mean, there are people from totally different backgrounds being jammed together, which is very much a New York thing.
Matthew, even though we only have a minute left, I wonder if you would share with me, though, being a New Yorker and a professional actor working a lot, what it's like day to day. Is it auditions? Are you in other cities? Do you have to leave your apartment a lot of the time?
Yeah, I have to travel a lot. I'm going to LA next week. So that's hard for me because sometimes I have trouble. I like to have like a kind of steady life, you know. I have a dog, you know, which for 2 years now, and that's actually helped because at least there's like something that I have to do. Sometimes as an actor, as an actor, you can just feel like you're nothing. Like you play different people all the time. You in hotels in weird not weird, but towns you don't know. You know, being driven around, it can be a weird life. So it's nice to have some kind of steadiness, which for me is always been here in New York.
Well, unlike the title, I'm glad we met.
Me too.
I'm talking to Matthew Broderick. The Night We Never Met is the name of the movie, and I'm John Tibbetts for KCTV5 in New York City. Who was it?